What would you do if someone came up to you and said, "I've murdered someone"? I couldn't help it. It's unrealistic to think that you could go through life without killing people. How would you react if someone came up to you and said, "I've just slept with someone who isn't my husband"? I couldn't not. There was too much temptation. It's idealistic to think that in this world today you can be sexually faithful. Or what would be your reaction if a friend came up to you and said, "I've just stolen this. It's from that shop over there, but don't worry, all my friends do it"? Or how about, "I'm really busy. There's no way I can take a complete day off this week. I've got my job, housework, family to care for, shopping to get done, and general life admin to get on top of." I may be wrong, but I think that if you're anything like me, then I suspect that that last phrase would shock me far less, and I'd be far quicker to accept it and far less likely to question them on it. However, you might have noticed that all of these things come from the Ten Commandments. And Smith and Patterson notice the same thing in their book, Slow Church, when they write this: "The only one of the Ten Commandments we publicly brag about breaking is the one about remembering the Sabbath and keeping it holy. And yet, we are never given any indication in the Old Testament or the New Testament that forsaking the Sabbath is any more or less justifiable than murder, theft, and adultery. So why is it that we find it so easy to ignore the fourth commandment?" It says this, the fourth commandment: "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labour and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you, or your son, or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner, or the traveller, or the foreigner, who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm aware that Jesus made exceptions to the Jews' rules around the Sabbath. And I don't think we should have legalistic rules that we keep to once a week that sap the joy out of life. What seems more worrying to me is that, unlike Jesus, we seem to have disregarded the Sabbath almost completely as a realistic practice for our lives. I did a survey recently about this, and 302 of the people that filled it out were from Sutton Baptist. And out of that group of 302 people, 83% said that they thought it was extremely important to take a whole day off from work each week. That's really encouraging. The Sabbath is something we see as really important. The worrying part came when only 27% of those same people said that they managed to stop work for a whole day weekly. It seems that the problem isn't that we think it's a bad idea, but that we can't seem to manage to do it. And so I've decided to do a few of these devotionals over the coming weeks to explore this commandment, how it brings life to us and to the world around us, why it's so important right now that we model this alternative way of living for our own good, but also for society's sake and for the building of God's kingdom. And finally, some ideas of how we can put it into practice, even in our busy world, and how it can be more than an idealistic, nice idea. Jesus said, "The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath." The Sabbath isn't something that we are told to slavishly knuckle down and do at all costs. It's a gift to us. when we see it like this, we start to realise that it was a present from God to us for our well-being and society's well-being. But rather than receiving it gratefully, we have, as a society, tended to reject it to the detriment of our mental, our physical, and our spiritual well-being. So let's begin by trying to reorient our way of thinking to be in line with Jesus's, viewing the Sabbath as a good gift from God. And in my next devotion, I'll look at why it is such a good gift to us and to the society around us right now.